The plate handicap chase, another one of these handicaps where we don't know the fields, of course, early enough in there. We might have a bit of a view. But like I say, the novices chase being on the same day and on the same course, hopefully logically you wouldn't see too many defections from it, unless potentially it's by the same connections, which is my nice little line in here. Because hopefully by the time it gets to Tuesday, we'll have some market confidence behind the fact that Krabilly's going to get redemption for the plate last year, Will. I'm sold on it. And it's probably a stupid bet. Probably shouldn't be advising people on this sort of stuff. So this is, I'm saying this with, it's not tongue in cheek because I have bet him, but he's 10-1 for this race this year. And I think they are going for redemption from last year. Now, I know he doesn't jump the best, but his comeback run after a bit of a break, because he ran in the, was it the Silver Trophy, he ran in at Chepstow, and I actually made a bit of a case for him there. I was like, they're going to go pick up this pot at the beginning of the season, then they're going to go win something like the Paddy Power Gold Cup with him. I had this whole thing mapped out for Krabilly being something special this season, and then the drift started. He was installed as 3-1 favourite, drifted out to like 40s or 50s for that Silver Trophy. Then they had a bit of a break, but his run back behind Matata was good, over 2 miles. I was starting to think maybe it was a bit too good, but he got dropped £2 for that. Then they had a fairly quick turnaround at the middle trip, ran terribly, you'd think, based on the official form, got dropped another £2 for it, but it wasn't bad. It was just another little spin for him to get himself, I think, ready for this. And he comes in now off of a lower mark than he was in the race last year when he was sent off a short price favourite. And I don't want to say he was unlucky, because jumps is the name of the game, wasn't it? But he definitely could have won the race last year if the race had been rerun a few more times. He wasn't a horse that was never going to win that race. So I think he's got a proper chance. Where I say about the connections as well, Jaguar goes for the novices, please. Krabilly wins this. If they send Jaguar to this race for any unknown reason, then it would make me very much doubt Krabilly in this race. But I'm sort of, I guess, one-sided in the fact that I do think there's some redemption in there. But he's a horse that I would definitely want to have something else on side with me as well. So yeah. I've been pretty blinkered in the fact that I'm just sticking with Krabilly for the time being. I haven't given this plate as much attention as I might do for some of the other handicaps, because I guess I'm waiting for the Springer to come from it. So, Will, can you help me find the horse that can probably win it when Krabilly inevitably fails?
Well, it's tricky, this race, because there's a whole host of entries, like you said, that are entered in the novice handicap chase as well. So sifting through which goes to which, you'd imagine most of the novices will run in the novice handicap chase, but sometimes you do find the angle of thought is that because a novice is more unexposed, they actually might be better going in. If they jump and travel well, they might be better going in against older handicappers because they've got more go forward left in them. So that might be the case. And there's, I don't know, probably 15 or 20 horses entered in both. So tricky from that respect, but Krabilly has to be on the shortlist, definitely. Grandeur Dam is on the shortlist for Alan King. He ran a cracker behind, still don't know quite how he got chinned by Moon d'Orange Trials Day. I think that's generally pretty solid form. The likes of Imperial Saint and Iroko in behind, I think they're rock solid mid 140s to 150s animal, if not slightly better. He's had a fairly quiet season. He can be a good horse who goes well fresh, so he's definitely of interest. And then there's a fair few Irish entries as well who would really be of interest. Most of them I've mentioned in the novices handicap chase as well, the likes of Jordan's, the Company Sergeant, potentially. You could see Pinkerton bouncing back as well. He ran poorly at the DRF, but maybe we'll come back here a bit fresher. Moon d'Orange himself, in this race as well, if he doesn't go for the novices. So, yeah, one of those races in line with the novice handicap chase on the same day that it's tricky getting a proper hand on. I will mention one thing, actually, and this is probably going to be completely derelict because we're recording this on Friday. It is today. Sorry, every day's rolling into one at the minute. And there's a horse running at Warwick today on Friday the 21st. So if you're listening to this later, scroll forward a minute or so if this horse is lost. But Venetia's horse called Demnat, who runs at Warwick today, would need to win today and go up maybe £6 or £7 to get into the realms of the bottom of the plate. Now, he ran in the Kim Muir last year and ran well for a long, long way. And actually, if you compare the two races side by side, despite having had a hefty shower in between the plate and the Kim Muir, for the final circuit, Demnat would have been on the heels of the leaders of the plate, going at the tempo that he was going in his comfort zone. So I think 2.5 miles is probably his trip. Like I said, see if he wins at Warwick today, and then he'll probably be half the price, but still might be an interesting angle because he handled the track really well that day. So he's an interesting horse, but might just be a minute or two's lost there that you can just throw into the ether. And
it's never lost, is it? If it's not this year, it'll be next year. Just Krabilly every year is what I'll keep tipping. Yeah, because it is tricky, but I think it's good as well because it's good to talk with racing folk. It's really good to talk to yourself about this sort of thing because it provides some sort of comfort in knowing that most punters are sat there at home thinking they should have it all figured out by now. But the reality is there are some races that there's probably some value and there's some benefit in betting in them right now, and there are other races where just leave them alone if you want, or if you've got a bit of an interest or your own little angle in there, then it's like it can't be dispelled or poo-pooed. So you don't have to be getting in on everything. One other one I do want to mention here, just because we can clip them up after if we get the winner. If I mention every single horse in the race, I know she doesn't do very well outside of Mare's Company, but Panic Attack for Dan Skelton looked like a new mare when she did win on her penultimate start. When they ran her over hurdles last time, I toyed with betting her. I thankfully didn't. She was short enough, and she did get beat, but she still showed a lot of tenacity in that race. That was against the boys, and she has got a massive preference for fences as opposed to hurdles. So the fact that she still ran to that level of ability over hurdles, albeit off of a lower mark because her chase mark has gone up, and I wouldn't say it was necessarily a prep. I think they were just trying to exploit a handicap mark, but she's the type of horse that wouldn't have the fancy profile, wouldn't look to have bundles in hand, but is probably tenacious enough. And I think she is better than the ability that she shows, which is a risk when you're coming into these types of races. But if someone's going to get it out of there for a Cheltenham Festival, it's going to be the Skeltons. And as much as her big day was a couple of starts ago, she might still have a little bit on her to say that she could go all right at a reasonable price. But at the moment, I think she's only about 12 to 1 on her money back. If she's shorter than 25 to 1 on the day, I'd be staggered. So she'd be one that's, I think, worth mentioning now, because as much as she might be a drifter or she might not run in the end, she could be one that's worth sticking in place pots or those block bet type things that I've mentioned before, if you're that way inclined. If not, then don't listen to me. That's fine. You can do what you want.